There is a small gesture that repeats throughout the day almost without being noticed. The hand moves on its own, the eyes drop for a second. Nothing urgent appears. Even so, the gesture returns a few minutes later. It is not clear anxiety. It is not pure boredom. It feels as if attention has learned to leak instead of staying, like water finding the easiest crack. In many moments, the scene is always similar. A task open on a screen, a video paused halfway, a tab that should be closed but remains there, the phone nearby, vibrating or not, the mind trying to hold a thread of thought while something pulls from the outside. The check happens quickly, almost automatically. No deliberate decision, just a glance, then another, and another. At the end of the day, the feeling is not of heavy phone use, but of constant interruption, as if nothing had been done all the way through. It often happens even when there are no notifications at all. The device is unlocked without a clear reason. A familiar app opens. It closes. It opens again. Sometimes the content barely matters. What matters is the movement, the brief pause, the momentary shift, the break in continuity. Many people describe this as lack of focus or too many external distractions. But that explanation usually stops too early, because in most cases this is not about disinterest or laziness. It is not simply technology addiction either. The habit of checking the phone all the time is often connected to something more subtle, difficulty staying long enough inside a single mental state, not because of inability, but because of discomfort. From a psychological and behavioral perspective, attention works like an internal space. Remaining there requires tolerating a certain level of silence, waiting, and sometimes mild tension. The human brain evolved to respond to novelty. In modern environments, novelty has multiplied. Notifications, endless feeds, constant updates. Each small signal activates ancient systems related to curiosity, anticipation, and quick reward. This is not conscious, it is automatic. Over time, the mind learns a simple association. Whenever an internal pause appears, there is an immediate exit in the pocket. The phone becomes a release valve for micro-discomforts that would previously have been endured. A difficult thought, a task without immediate payoff, a brief emptiness between one action and another. Instead of staying there, attention jumps, not because it cannot remain, but because it has learned that it does not have to. There is also an emotional protection component. Staying too long with one's own thoughts can activate doubts, inner pressure, or postpone decisions. Constant checking interrupts these processes before they deepen. It works like a buffer. Everything keeps moving on the surface. Nothing hurts too much, but nothing is fully resolved either. The cost of this pattern is rarely obvious in the short term. It shows up as mental fatigue without a clear cause.
As a sense of being behind, even on busy days. As difficulty finishing what was started. Decisions remain suspended. Ideas lose strength halfway through. The mind spends the day reacting, but rarely staying. And this creates a quiet instability, a lot of activity, very little continuity. There is no dramatic collapse, just a light cumulative wear. Fragmented attention consumes energy. Every return to focus requires effort. Every interruption charges a small price. By the end of the day, the feeling is not information overload, but dispersion, as if the mind had been in many places without truly inhabiting any of them. It may be worth noticing when this gesture appears most strongly, whether it shows up before longer tasks, when silence stretches, or when something important starts to demand real presence. In many cases, the checking is not about what is on the phone, but about what becomes difficult to sustain internally. In which moments does attention tend to slip away more easily? Here, these patterns are observed calmly.